pictures of it, and you know, there it is. Anyway, a lot of times when you're learning plants, you got your ID book, or your ID app, I was just reading about, your ID books, and then, you know, you have to usually go to other books to get some information about, you know, their uses very well. But you do want to get the roots of these if you can. What am I trying to dig up here? Digging it up, and it's bad. We should be looking at it in its natural habitat. But here it is! Woo! That's what it looks like now, sort of, although I've seen some of them in bloom already this year. What is this plant? Dandelion, right? It's not native to here. The Europeans were not leaving home without this plant. They brought dandelion with them. And what do you guys know about dandelion? Let's just start in. So this is, you know, we're gonna, when we get up here, it's a lot less of a disturbed area, so there's a lot more native plants. That's often a sign that, you know, humans have been around here digging and doing stuff, and now these plants are coming up. So, but there's a lot of really great edible and medicinal naturalized plants, or weeds, or, you know, things that are growing on their own. So they're good to learn too, and in some ways, it might be more ecological to be eating the weeds. Here's another trick: if you roast them in the oven for a little while, they kind of sweeten up, they get this really nice flavor, and it comes out to be something a lot like Inca. You can make like a coffee substitute, no caffeine, but tasty and nutritious and healthful. Prickly leaves. There's a prickly leaf holly that comes up all over the place that came from Europe that's kind of pushy, but this is our native friend that's got prickly leaves, and it makes these dark purple berries.
Oregon grapes.
Oregon grape, yes, very good. So when it gets these dark purple berries in the fall, they're edible, they're very sour. You can also, this is starting to go, you can also try to eat, you can eat the flowers at this point too, of the Oregon grape. The planks were harvested from the cedar, no small task either. Built the longhouses. The bark would be harvested from the cedar, and you get the inner bark of the cedar. What was that used for? Everything. Kind of a small one. It's going to get bigger, but it's in the mustard family. What do we know about the mustard family? You
can eat them.
You can eat them. Yay. And these are actually pretty dang tasty. Here, let's do this without that. It's called wintergrass or bittergrass or popweed because its seeds will pop out when it gets ripe. But right now it's popping up in the spring, and it's good. It's very tasty.
Is it the same as shot grass or different?
Yeah, I think it gets called shot grass too. Latuca is in the same genus as our salad lettuce. It has a little bit of a white sap, what do we call that? That comes out of it, like lettuce also does. Yeah, and these are edible. They're out. The leaves are out a lot. It's pretty bitter. Bitters are supposedly really good for your digestion and a very rare thing in the American diet. So you can mix it with other stuff like the cardamom, the popweed, the bittercress. I know there's so many names for it. Let's just call it wintercress. We're gonna call it wintercress. And make a nice little salad. We'll find some other things to make a nice little salad out of. But so we're going for this little rhizome that it grows. So the licorice fern, you can see like the sword ferns just attach in this one little spot to the stem, right? Just this one little spot. The licorice fern have their whole little leaflet is attaching to the stem there. But these rhizomes are surprisingly sweet, hence the name licorice fern. And you can clear off all the duff off of them, and you can nibble it. See that little urn-shaped flower? That's telling us that it's related to what? Blueberries and salal. It's in the Ericaceae family. This is the Evergreen Huckleberry. This is the native huckleberry. It can grow in the woods. It fruits a lot more when there's a little sun. You know, we were just learning in this class how these were attended. The native folks would use fire a lot to burn them back every few years to increase it would burn back, but then they would sprout again from the stalks. But yeah, makes a really delicious dark berry in the fall.
I learned a lot about plant families and learning like the genus of plants and how that can help you identify and figure out how safe a plant is going to be before you eat it, which is a skill I did not have before. And I've been working on identifying plants for a while now, but I would definitely say this was beneficial because it was good to have yet another new source, and being reintroduced to plants that I've heard about is very helpful. And I think it just helped like build a stronger foundation.
This has been great. We've been learning about all of these plant friends that we have out here. There is an abundance of nutrition and beauty, and here it is, just popping up and growing everywhere. So get on out there and meet your plant friends and start nibbling.